Hey everyone, I'm at the Newark International Airport here in New Jersey, and I just want to do a quick video here before my flight. And I want to talk about why the vast majority of the church does not or rejects the notion that the last generation of the church will encounter the persecution of the Antichrist figure, and not just the church in terms of Christendom, but even specifically the vast majority of evangelicals reject this idea that the church is going to encounter the Antichrist just before Christ's return. And there's basically 5 groups. So you have Preterism. Preterism says that the Antichrist has already arrived back in the 1st century, and that Antichrist figure, whoever they believe it is, whether it was Titus or another figure, they believe that that figure persecuted God's people and thus fulfilled the prophecies in the Bible. So they don't believe in a future Antichrist. The second view is Historicism. So Historicism says that the Antichrist is not embodied in some literal personal figure, but is embodied in an institution, for example, in the interadvental era between the first and second coming of Christ. So God's people have been persecuted by, whether they make it the Roman Catholic Church or government or whatever, they would say that that the Antichrist figure is fulfilled in the past at this time. So they're not looking for a future literal figure. The third group would be Pretribulationism. We have addressed this many times, right? Pretribulationism does believe in a future Antichrist figure, but believes that they will be raptured just before the Antichrist comes on the scene, and when the Antichrist is revealed. So they would believe that we are, again, raptured out of here, that the church is not going to experience the Antichrist persecution. The fourth view would be the view that we just don't know. I guess we could call them agnostics, right? Agnostic-Tribulationist or something like that. We just don't know. The Bible, even though Jesus and Paul and the book of Revelation make it clear that we can know, they would just at the end of the day say, nah, we just don't know. Honestly, I think it's more like they don't care. That leads me to the fifth view, is that the Pan-Tribulationists, they would just say, well, it's all going to pan out in the end, and why focus on this area? So, and the fourth and the fifth group is very similar. So, but if you honestly, I think all these 5 views is a false teaching. I think the Bible is very clear that God has ordained the last generation of the church to encounter the persecution of the Antichrist. And it is the Prewrath view, and there's post-tribs as well, post-tribulationists. This is my perspective, the Prewrath perspective, that the church will encounter the Antichrist persecution just before Christ returns. If you want to learn more about the Prewrath position, you can see my book, Antichrist Before the Day of the Lord, What Every Christian Needs to Know About the Return of Christ. And you can find that at Amazon.